Welcome everyone to my Demon Form Hexblast ED Contagion build for the Infernalist. The primary source of damage in this build is Hexblast. ED Contagion's very clunky to use currently, and the only real place you can use it is maybe Breaches, and you use it single target with Dark Effigy to wither enemies to do good single target damage. The main part of this build is Demon Form. It relies on two different uniques. One will be Ghost Ride, and the other will be Ming's Heart. You'll buy 2 Ming's Hearts and 1 Ghost Ride. You want to use Flesh Catalysts on your Ming's Heart to further reduce the maximum life that they take away from you, as Demon Form does 0.5% of your max HP and damage per stack of Demon Flame. The lowest amount of damage that Demon Flame can do to you is 1 per second. So you want to get your life around 200. Lower won't help you at all for Demon Flame, but getting to 200 is also very difficult without getting really good corruption rolls on your Ghost Rides and your Ming's Hearts, as well as min-maxing and not getting the maximum HP permanence during the campaign. If you got them, it's not that big a deal. The build will work just fine. I got them myself, and the build, it doesn't have an issue. For the rest of your gear, because we're going to be using Demon Form and we need to counteract the HP drain that is applying to us, you'll want life regen per second on the 4 pieces that can get it, which are helmet, amulet, boots, and belt. Gloves cannot roll life regen, but you'll probably want to get mana per enemy killed on them just to make mapping a little smoother. Because we're forced to use Ghost Ride and 2 Ming's Hearts, we're missing elemental resists on our chest piece and our 2 rings. Because of that, you'll have to make up the resists in your other pieces of gear. So your suffixes for most of your items are pretty much set to be resists until you get very high quality gear that has very high resistance rolls. So on pretty much everything, you're going to be running life regen where you can get it and double resist. Your prefixes are more open. Boots, you'll want move speed. And then other than that, you'll probably just be picking up energy shield and mana. Eventually, you may be able to start dropping some suffixes for others. For example, your helmet, you can run minion skills, which will help Grim Feast. Grim Feast is not a spell, so it won't get spell levels from Demon Form. As for your skills, Hexblast will be your main damage source. As I said in the intro, Essence Drain and Contagion, you can try to use on Breaches, but in their current iteration, they are very awkward to use. Contagion only hits 1 target initially, and Essence Drain is a projectile that is pretty slow. Your best way to try to get them both to land is you Contagion something, kill it, and then when Contagion is spreading, you throw an Essence Drain on one of the newly afflicted targets. Doing this, you can actually get a pretty good Essence Drain Contagion running on Breaches where the density is high enough. Otherwise, the density really isn't high enough, and it's not worth casting those 2 spells when you can just Hexblast once and kill the pack. You'll be running Dark Effigy for bosses. It'll be applying all your wither for you. Because we're running Dark Effigy, you'll want to Contagion and Essence Drain bosses when you can to keep the Effigy shooting. Effigy will also poison the target, which will make it shoot even faster, and it'll help when your Contagion and Essence Drain are not on the boss, so it'll keep shooting. You'll run Blasphemy with Despair. Chaos Resist Reduction is good, just helps you do more damage. For your amulet, you'll want Resists and Life Regen, and if you can get at least 30 Spirit from it, you can run Arctic Armor, which is another defensive layer, which will help us if we're surrounded, getting stun locked by enemies by freezing them. Because this build is a low life build, we'll be getting all of our defenses from Energy Shield. This makes Grim Feast a very powerful spirit gem, as it will allow us to overload our Energy Shield, allowing it to be double what it is base. So if you have a 6,000 Energy Shield, you'll be able to get up to a 12,000. The only thing you have to look out for when running an Essence Shield build is that poison will damage your health through your Essence Shield. Mobs that naturally poison will not have a strong enough poison to overcome our life regen. The only thing that would be dangerous would be a mob that has poison on hit as a special affix, or if you were to run a Waystone, that would give all mobs the ability to poison on hit. If you're worried about dying to poison, you can just run an Antidote Charm, and it will dispel any poison that is applied to you so long as it has charges. For our main Blasphemy, we're running Despair. You can add Ritualistic Curse to that, which will increase the curse's area of effect, which does work for Blasphemy. You can run Heightened Curse. You can't run Heightened Curse unless you have a significant extra source of spirit, as this does increase the reservation multiplier to 140%. But once you can run this, I would recommend it. If you can run Clarity, it's helpful, but you by all means don't need to. You can run Clarity on either Blasphemy or Grim Feast. You can set up a second Blasphemy with Enfeeble if you need it or want it for bosses. Both Arctic Armor and Grim Feast aren't very helpful on bosses, so if you want, you can turn them off and switch to a Blasphemy with Enfeeble, which will help the boss do less damage to us. Personally, I don't ever use this, but it's there. This was the super quick down and dirty of how this build works and plays and how you gear for it. Thanks for watching. If it's helpful for you, please hit subscribe or thumbs up. If I'm wrong about anything in this build, please let me know in the comments.